who picks up this as our testing's getting better. We're finding out more people have got catching the disease, and let's hope everyone's being sensible, not spreading it, and getting better. When they do get it. Wakefield owner Michael Carter announced that the club has stood down David Fafita after the player refused to wear track and trace equipment. Carter says the forward, who has previously declined to wear the required GPS apparatus, then removed it at half-time of Wakefield's defeat to Catalans in the Cup last week, and so has been removed from Trinity's player bubble. Carter said, after further discussions with the RFL and internally, we have stood down David Fafita for the foreseeable future. Part of the track and trace protocols involve the use of GPS data. David has refused to wear one in the past, and despite being told that he must wear one, didn't wear it against Catalans in the league game and removed it at half-time of the game last Saturday. As the person ultimately responsible for the health and well-being of every employee at the club, we must err on the side of caution and remove David from the playing bubble. Carter also confirmed that Jay Pitts and Alex Walker and Liam Kay have been stood down from the first team duties for reasons related to coronavirus. I understand Pitts and Walker were the two players picked out by the track and trace protocols, or the test and trace protocols, from the Catalans game, whereas Liam Kay, it's a close relative who's tested positive, I understand, is what the kind of news stories suggested. So hopefully everyone there is fine and well and can get back into the playing bubble sooner rather than later. But Fafita's the talking point, isn't he, in this, unfortunately? Yeah. Tom Andrews got in touch. He said, well, I think he owes the fans an apology for what can only be described as the most 2020 way to be stood down there's ever been. On the other hand, if he fancies heading to East Hall, pass my details on and I'll give him a lift. What do you think of this?
It just seems like, well, for a start, how has he actually, managed to remove his vest at half time? Didn't it take like half an hour to get those tops off of that tight fitting?
I mean, and his.
Yeah. I just think, like, why?
He could possibly have just reached in and pulled the device out of it. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, it was the fact that it was told that it was, these vests that he's removed. And I thought, if he's got to take his shirt off and then a vest off and then put his shirt back on again, all at half time, I just think he's an idiot. Like, I've seen people coming out with all sorts of things like, oh, well, it's his data protection and all the rest of it. Well, no, because we all know where he is. He's on the pitch. What's his issue? Is it that he's worried his stats are going to show that he's fat and lazy, or is it that, what's his issue?
Yeah, well, I've heard he was kicking off about he doesn't like the size of them, or they're too big or something, but so maybe he feels uncomfortable wearing it. But this isn't about feeling comfortable wearing a small device between your shoulders on a vest. This is about taking sensible steps to help make sure the competition gets completed, and
part
I
of it
completely
is,
support what Wakefield have done here with him if he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, I just think, like, part of it, obviously, the club uses the data to, like, assess the players, assess what they've done, from like a productivity stance. If you want to take it to any sort of employment thing. But also, then you've got the trace and track thing, which is an additional thing, which at the moment is a legal thing. Wherever you are, you're having to fill in your details. Who you are, what your phone number is, how long you were there for, and all the rest of it. So,
yeah, I think that the obviously the people who don't like wearing face masks are also saying that David Fafita can not like wearing something on his back, and he doesn't have to. It's his choice, but it is his choice. But his choice involves him not getting to play rugby league. You're not subscribing to the requirements of what your competition and your club want you to do. Why would you think you? And this applies to everyone who does these things. Why would you think you're bigger and better and more important than the club? There's been talk about this is a kind of part of Fafita's move of not being happy, wanting out. He hasn't been the same player since he got injured last year at Anfield, has he, in the Magic weekend, which was unfortunate because he was going fantastically well before then for Wakefield and earning a lot of praise and plaudits. Maybe that downtime has made him reflect and think he wants to do something different with his time in his career or what have you. But every credit to Michael Carter from my perspective.
I really respect Michael Carter generally. And I do think, yeah, be upfront about it, and stick to what is the right thing to do. Did he have a problem wearing it before?
It seems that way, doesn't it? Because it says he's refused to wear them in the past, which...
Yeah.
And probably it's more been an optional thing when it's just about performance.
Yeah.
But we're talking bigger than just about performance now, aren't we?
Yeah, this is it. It's it's people's health, people's lives. I mean, I know at Hull we've got players who've got children with serious illnesses. Well, you want to know if that if David Fafita's come into contact with various people, you need to know, if he turns out to test positive, you want to know who needs to self-isolate, who could potentially therefore be carrying the disease.
Yeah, and like you've got with children or people who are looking after elderly family members or whatever, more vulnerable people who are still at higher risk. But on the other side as well, there's players at lots of clubs. I know Wigan and at Warrington, there's players whose partners or wives or whatever work in the NHS, and you don't want to be depleting their resources by something so foolish and selfish and simple as this.
Yeah,
it's so basic. It's why I don't really understand the mask thing. I know there'll be people who listen to this who probably don't like wearing a mask and refuse to wear one because they don't like wearing one. I don't enjoy wearing one. But
I was going to say, show me somebody that likes it.
No. Some people might. Cover your face a bit. I think it makes it even harder to recognise people when you see them in the shop and say hello to you.
But you've got a good excuse then for not recognising them.
But yeah, I don't know. I think this is just taking that to another silly level, and there you go. Let's move on. But there's more Wakefield stuff to move on to. They've been busy.
They have. So they've announced changes to personnel working behind the scenes at the club, effective from the start of September. So after 5 years with Wakefield Trinity, General Manager Jonathan Schofield is moving on to develop his own business. He's purchased the rights for the classic Elgren rugby kit brand. Elsewhere, Ground Safety Officer Kevin Preston will now have overall responsibility for stadium management, while Darren Williams will assume responsibility for day-to-day matters alongside the club's lottery and squad builder initiatives. Darren Pitchforth has been promoted to retail manager with responsibility for all the club's retail operations, including match day tickets.
Yeah, congratulations to those people who've had sort of semi-promotions there, I think.
Yeah.
Hull KR's leading try scorer Ben Crooks will be out of action until October with a calf issue. The outside back tore his calf in training and is expected to be out for 6 weeks. Tom Andrews got in touch and said, clearly he's just giving every other winger the chance to catch up to him. Hopefully back scoring for fun sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, in official Tom Mancrush news, whilst Crooks is out, it's all about Big Weller. So there you go.
I wouldn't have thought that, there were enough similarities, really. You can have a crush on both of them. It just doesn't...
Do you mean he can have a man crush on a back and a man crush on a forward and... tall and skinny and stockier and... Yeah?
On all categories, they're sort of polar opposites.
I feel... what we're actually getting here, rather than him having a singular man crush, it's more like a league table, and if someone's injured they have to get moved down the league table somehow,
right,
because he can't indulge himself because he can't see them play as much. I think that's what it is.
Okay, I'm pleased to be educated about man crushes.
Well, I don't know. I've just got Liam Farrell. And that's not a crush, that is commitment.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm not crushing on Liam Farrell either. I'm committed to the man.
You don't mind if he's injured?
No.
So Leeds Rhinos have signed Featherstone Rovers duo Brett Ferris and James Harrison on initial 1-month loan deals. Second row forward Ferris, who's 34, rejoins the Rhinos, having made 86 appearances for the club between 2016 and 2019, and fellow second row Harrison, who's 24, joined Rovers last year.
Yeah, Brett Ferris back at Leeds. Leeds obviously just need more bodies in for this run-in with some injuries and stuff that they've had in the back row. I guess they're getting someone that they know what they can get out of, but they know that they can get not much out of him.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people very, very sceptical and not very happy about that as a signing.
I think if I was a Leeds fan, I would much be preferring them to play, especially when the stakes aren't that high this year. Everything's got a bit of an asterisk next to it and no one's getting relegated. I'd much prefer a 18, 19-year-old out of my academy to get a game than bring back a 34-year-old who we decided wasn't up to it.
Yeah.
But, that's the choice that they've made, and I'm sure Ferris will do a okay job if he gets picked. I don't know much about Harrison. Seems like a try-scoring back rower, potentially.
Yeah, no, he's not one that I know a lot about either.
No, other sort of news coming out of Leeds today as well is that prop forward Dom Crosby will retire at the age of 29 at the end of this season due to the injury that he's been suffering with for the last, the whole time he's been at Leeds, really, unfortunately for Dom. I mean, he was a grand final winner at Wigan, moved on to Warrington and obviously had a personal tragedy that people will be aware of that kind of would have knocked anyone off the game for a while there, and then got the fresh start at Leeds, looked like he was going to start getting back into shape as he was getting into match fitness, and then been injured. Really sad for someone who was a really promising player 5 years ago.
Yeah, definitely it is.
Yeah, well, good luck to him in retirement anyway.
Yeah.
Do you want to? We'll start rattling through some championship news. Do you want to start with Bradford?
Yeah, so Bradford have signed Aaron Murphy from Huddersfield on a 2-year deal. The 31-year-old back rower has made 251 career appearances for Wakefield and Huddersfield, scoring 94 tries.
Widnes have signed prop Paul Clough on a 1-year deal for the 2021 season. The 32-year-old has made more than 300 appearances for St Helens, Widnes, Bradford and Huddersfield.
Batley have signed hooker Ben Kay from Halifax for 2021, while Alistair Leake has committed to another year at the Bulldogs. Kay has made more than 240 career appearances for Leeds, Harlequins, Featherstone and Halifax, and hooker Leake has been at Batley since 2013 and has played almost 150 games for the club.
Widnes have announced the re-signing of Lloyd Roby on a 1-year deal. Roby's 21, progressed through the Widnes youth pathway all the way to the first team, making his debut back in 2017 in the cup tie against Warrington.
Is he any relation to James?
No, I'm not aware of him being.
Just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know.
Swinton prop Jose Kenga has signed a new 1-year deal with the club for 2021. Kenga joined the Lions in 2019 from Keighley and has made 19 appearances for the club so far.
Swinton fullback Ben Hayes has signed a new deal with the club for the 2021 campaign. The 21-year-old joined the Lions and Thatto Heath Crusaders last year and played one game for the club before the championship season was cancelled. So that's good that they're giving him another go.
Yeah. And Oldham centre Cameron Leeming has signed a new 1-year deal with the club. The 25-year-old joined the Ruffians midway through the 2019 campaign and helped the club achieve promotion to the championship. Yeah,
a few more Tuesday lines on the championship. Matty Dawson-Jones, remember him? Best strike rate in Hull FC Super League history. Signed a new 1-year deal with Bradford. Toulouse have announced the re-signing of Mathieu Dusame. Sorry for butchering that name. For the 2021 championship season, Dusame, 21, has scored 11 tries in 23 appearances for the French outfit. Swinton have announced the signing of Liam Forsyth on a 2-year deal. Forsyth played for the Lions on dual registration previously when he was at Wigan. They've signed him from Lee. York City Knights have extended the stay of playmaker Matty Marsh. The 25-year-old has signed a new 1-year deal with the club after joining permanently in 2019 from Hull Kingston Rovers. And Featherstone have continued their recruitment for 2021 with the capture of Swinton Lions forward Frankie Halton on a 2-year deal.
Yes. So moving on to League One. Rochdale have announced the signing of Luke Littlewood for the 2021 League One season. Littlewood, who's 19, came through the Bradford under-16s and 19s system, featuring in the halves.
Hunslet have announced the re-signing of former forward Jack Aldous for the 2021 campaign. The former Hull FC, York and Newcastle product has agreed a 1-year deal with the Parksiders.
Ottawa Aces have announced the signing of Scotland international Sam Luckley. Luckley's 24 and has been at Newcastle Thunder since 2016. the back rower